Hello, 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 and welcome.
We
Welcome to the Love Strategy Podcast. We're your hosts, Angela, and
Akila.
we are a mother in law and daughter in law team. We are here to talk to you about real life, about things that matter to us and to you. And if this is your first time joining us, thank you and welcome. And if you've been here with us before, tell them what, Akila.
Make sure you subscribe and like our Facebook page as well as our Instagram page. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and click the like button.
And thank you so much. So we are here before we get started with today's discussion. We're just going to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. So, as I previously stated, we are mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. That means she has married my wonderful son. Do you agree?
No comment. No, I was kidding. Of
Okay, what now?
course.
What now?
Of
No,
course.
okay, no. And so I am a mom of three adult children. Um, and all three of my children are married, and family life has and is something that has always and is near and dear to my heart. So I'm a mom, a grandmother. um, I work with families professionally in the family court system. I've represented individuals in family court. I do mediations. I believe one of the purposes for me on this earth is to help improve the lives of children. And so that's just a little bit about who I am. Keela, tell them a little bit about you.
So I'm Akila. I'm the daughter-in-law, and her son married a beautiful, intelligent, bomb female woman boss.
I would agree with that.
So I have had a long career of about 10 years or more in the marketing and the business world. I've done corporate, I've done solo, and had my own agency for a while. And most recently, I have become a certified strategic life coach. And what that entails, I actually do strategic life coach, but also business coach as well, and relationship coach. So that's a little bit about me. I have one beautiful little daughter, which is Angela's granddaughter.
And I
And
love her so much. Oh, that's my stanky wanky, but sorry for the interruption.
she's brand spanking new. So I'm a brand spanking new mother as at the time of this recording this episode. And what else? Am I missing anything?
That's it. The most important
That's in a
thing is
nutshell. But
in a nutshell, a
yep,
snippet of who she is. But most importantly, she talks about her little daughter, who we just she is. Oh my God, you guys! I could talk probably hours and hours and hours about that little girl. But anyway, what are we
she's
talking about today, Keela? Tell them our topic.
so. Today, we are going to talk about women who pursue careers who are also mothers and wives, and can they do that? Can they do both? And how can they do both? And one of the reasons why we want to speak about this, because in contrast to what we spoke about before. So if you're new to the podcast, please go back and listen to some of our past episodes. We talked about being a wife and mother and choosing to stay at home with our kids and be the primary caregiver for our children. But this, in contrast, is saying how you can do that in sorts, but also be a career woman, and if that's possible. We want to dive into that because Angela and I had a great conversation over the holiday weekend, which we're recording this after the Thanksgiving Day weekend. So we had a very good conversation about this. So I thought it would be a really good topic for us to discuss on the podcast and get your feedback as well as to what you believe and what you think is possible for the women out there who are mothers and or wives.
And a career. So let me make sure we're on the same page as far as what the topic is. So we are discussing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keela, we are discussing if it's possible to successfully be a career woman, wife, mom, and parent the children, your children successfully, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if I may, let me just kind of jump in there and give my perspective. And then, Keela, if you would share your perspective, and then we could discuss it. So, as I stated, I am the mom of three biological children that I had the pleasure of um, pushing out of the JJ and suckling them at my breast. And I am also um, college educated. I have, an advanced degree. I went to law school, um, graduated law school, um, took the bar in two states, Missouri and Kansas. Passed both bars on the first try. But let me, and I'm saying that just to give you a perspective, but let me say this. One, what I am most proud of in my entire life, what I'm most proud of is that I had the option, and part of that option was me planning, but I had the option to stay at home and raise my babies, raise my children. And when I say that, let me say, I just personally don't think that you can work full time and parent your children and give them what they need. I think it's a myth that we can multitask. When a woman conceives a child, that's a whole new life that's being developed. And so the mom, our society doesn't support this. I just took it upon myself. And what I want to do in the future is this. I think a pregnant mom needs to be 100% supported, because guess what? The emotional state of that mother affects that developing fetus. And if that mom is stressed with work, economic needs, or whatever, that's going to affect that baby. So my view is this: when you're pregnant, when that woman is pregnant, the community, the family, everybody needs to gather around her. And her job is just to be as peaceful as she can, as emotionally supported as she can, and just not worry, but just be concerned about nourishing that baby. And then when that baby, we have to look at, I'm going to try not to take a whole lot of time. We have to look at that whole process. That baby is growing in their mama's belly, and that baby is attached to that mama by the umbilical cord. That's important, because we know if the cord gets knots in it, that could be fatal, right? When in delivery, if that cord gets wrapped around that baby's neck too tight, that's a problem. But that physical connection right there lets you know that baby is connected to the mama. Now she's connected to the daddy. The baby is connected to the daddy too, and that the daddy needs to be loving to that mom. The daddy look, what you got? Don't worry about it. I got you. Well, finances, don't worry about it. I got you. Her job is just to let that baby flourish. Then when that baby is born, just the process of coming through that birth canal, that in and of itself is another miracle of God. One miracle, when it passes through that birth canal, guess what? Its microbiome is benefited from the bacteria in the mother's birth canal. It gives it a balanced microbiome. And guess what? When that baby passes through that birth canal, hormones are released to make the mother and child automatically connect. Just like that. That's set up by God. And then, in our society, when a baby's born in the hospital or whatever, they take them and they put them here and that. No, 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 no. When that baby's born, give that baby to the mama, the person he or she has been with for the 9 months. Let that baby, because our job is this. And I know this is a long round, I'm wrapping up. Our job is this: to make babies feel safe and secure. And so when a baby is born, and I understand there are some women who have to go back to work, but when a baby is born, they cry. And you just had a baby. They can cry sometimes and it makes you want to just bang your head on the wall. But they do that because that's their way of saying to their mother, I need you. I need you to make me feel safe and secure. Because I think that I'm my mother. The children think that your body belongs to them. And they will learn later on that the baby and the mother are two separate beings. But for the first 12 months, they can't comprehend that. They think mommy, that's why they think if you breastfeed them, they think your boob is their boob. They want it whenever because they think you are them. And so I don't see how, when you take that baby and you put them in an environment where their needs can't be met when they need to be met. When a baby is crying, some people say, you spoil them. I don't think you can spoil them. When that baby is crying, there's a need for attachment. Yes, they want to cling to the mother. Yes, it's constant. Yes, it's tiring. But that's where the community support comes in. That's when you come in and say, wait, you may need a break. Let me take the baby, in the house, in the same house. Let me give you a break. But we've got to realize that our job is to make that baby grow up feeling safe and well protected. And that helps develop their emotional needs and their central nervous system. And that's how they grow up to be healthy, sane adults. Because I think a lot of us, me included, we're walking around traumatized from what happened to us as we were parenting. And let me say this, in no way am I shaming our parents, because there's no parent that I've ever met, my parents included, that I don't believe in my heart that they don't love their children. They just don't know how to provide for them emotionally and how to teach them to regulate their emotions, because babies, they don't have a clue and they can't. Their mental capacity is not developed enough to control their emotions, and they learn that from the parents. So if the mom is stressed and always worried, and I got to go to work, and you get a moment, I got to do this. Guess what? The baby's going to pick that up. And so that's why I think it's not possible to work full time and to give the baby what he or she needs. I know that may have been long, but let me hear from you, Akilah.
So I do want to piggyback off of one comment that you made regarding community. So I think the part that is missed when we speak, or when I spoke to you, is the community, is the allowing, obviously not any Tom, Dick, and Jerry to take care of the child, but someone who you trust. Hopefully, not everyone has that. Not everyone has that network, but it does take a village to take care of children. So I think that once the child is of a certain age, because all of what you said I do agree with for the most part, but I think there is a time that comes when the woman might want some independency, want to have a sense of purpose in her mind again when it comes to working, financial success, making sure that she is contributing to herself and to her household financially. And that requires to work, and not everyone is fortunate to work inside the home. Now with COVID that just passed, a lot more people can. It is possible because a lot more companies are allowing that. But even then, it takes a lot, like you said, to take care of a child and to work at the same time. But I think that a community can this is where the community or your village comes in handy, and you can use someone, whether it be inside the house or a grandparent or a trusted aunt, that you allow the child to go stay with while you're working. And I don't think that's any issue. And I think it's okay for a parent or mother to rely on that village. And I don't think it's necessarily them not raising their children, it's them with an extension of themselves raising their children. They have the village who has similar thought processes, similar, ways that they want to instill values into your child. They have similar values, similar ethics. And so you trust that person or those people to care for your children while you pursue your career. And that is my stance on it. And that I think that's where we were disagreeing a little bit. It's just that I think that it is possible to have not, and you may not work full time, but even part time work takes a lot. It takes a lot from you, but I don't think it's taking away from the child either if you have a trusted village that you can have your child entrusted in or with while you pursue your career, whether it be part-time or full-time. And so that's what I think, and I think that it is possible to have a career. It is not you all the time, but in the time that you are with them, you are still instilling the emotional support. You're giving them the love that they need on the time that you do have, because you're off in the other time trying to provide for that child. And not everyone has a husband either, or a spouse, or the father of the child to be there. So there are things that women do have to do, and I think it's important for women to be okay with that, to pursue a career as long as they can find a trusted village to care for their child, of course. But I think it's important to find if that's what it means to be, or what you need to do to maintain your individuality outside of just being a mom and or a wife and a baby mother, et cetera, et cetera. To be you, if you still want to pursue your career, do something that you had on your mind before a child, and you had the picture involved with the child with your career, then I think that's something that can be done, and it's possible with the right village around.
Well, yeah, I agree with that somewhat. All I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, and this is a whole lot of subjects come up
Yeah.
in this. But let me first say this: for those parents or women who are not married, and some people say I'm a single mom, or I'm a single parent. First, I need some definition on that. Are you divorced, never married, or whatever? And I'm not being hard. I don't want to come across as being hard on women, but this is what I know. But I don't want to come across as being hard on women. I want women, because we bear the brunt of the childbearing. I want you to make hard, conscious decisions. That if you're going to be a mother, because being a mother, it's no joke. So if you're going to have children, let's be wise about it. Let's pick a mate, a husband who can help us. Because see, the way I look at it is this: having a career, you can have a career, but how about this? How about, if a woman wants to go to school and get her degree or whatever, how about go to school before you have the kids, get your degree or whatever? Or if you have children and you still want to go to college and get a degree, work around the child. So in my situation, in my case, first of all, let me say this: I got married at a young age. The way I was able to continue my education was my husband worked nights. And so when he would come home, then he would be with the children, and then I would go to school. So I that was by design. I wanted to marry a man who I knew would take care of our family. Now, when I say take care of our family, I had to make some basic sacrifices, I had to be okay with not having a four-bedroom house, not having two cars, not having, the latest greatest. I had to be okay with having my basic needs provided in exchange for me not working outside the home, being able to be home and suckle my children, nurse my children. I was okay with that. So all I'm saying is in today's society, we're so stressed. We live in a capitalistic society that children are falling by the wayside. It's like, oh yeah, you have a baby, you go back to work 6 weeks, you can put them in a daycare, you can do it. What about show me an animal, show me an animal in nature that has a baby. When the baby's born, tell other animals, go ahead and take care. Those animals will cut your throat if you try to interfere with them in their relationship on that newborn. Now, yeah, with humans, that period is longer. All I'm saying is let's make children a priority. Now, this village, it used to be that we had families living in close proximity are living together. So, me as a grandmother, if I'm available and my children's parents are grandchildren's parents are not available, I pretty much know their values, their morals. I know how they raise their children. I don't mind stepping in as the grandparent because I'm going to give that child the same love as best I can as the parents. My job as a grandparent, if that child is ever in my presence, is to let that child know that I want you to be okay. I want you to grow up knowing that you don't have to be something that you're not, that you're okay as you are. I want that child to know that they're good enough. In order for me to do that, I have to be present. You mentioned your baby. She's 18, 19 months old. I can't just sit her somewhere and put her in the corner. She moves around a lot. She will wear you out. But I'm okay with that because I want her to know. We have to realize babies, children, we're so fixed on we want our kids to be well educated, and we do. We want them in the best schools, and we do. But guess what? The first 5 years, you know how they learn? Through play. You know how they learn best? Getting affection, get connection, letting the parents, the people, grandparents, the family, letting them know that we love you. Even if you you can't pick up this pen, we love you. If you can pick up the pen, we love you. Our job is to help that baby grow up to be a whole human being. And as I said before, and I stand on it, we have so many adults walking around in this world who are suffering from trauma. And when I say trauma, I don't mean that something happened to them, that they were physically abused, they were sexually abused. What I mean is trauma from not having their emotional needs cared for. And that's why adults now snap. They can't control their emotions. You're in a relationship, they just go ballistic when you have a difference of an opinion. They haven't learned to control those emotions. That's a lot of work. And so we've got that village. If we've got people who have the time, raising children takes time. You can't just sit them in a chair and say, "Here you sit." No,
It's,
you have to be
can I jump in here?
absolutely.
So you agree that it takes a village. So is it when people take their kids to daycare then? Is that what you don't really?
So my view is this: with daycare, my personal opinion is this: their job is to keep your children safe. But with that many children and the number of workers, I just feel it's not. I, I don't think it's. I don't think it's. Let me just say this: I don't think is likely that they can give the child the individual needs and security that they need. So, for example, a parent is dropping the child off. The child really doesn't want to go to daycare, so the child may be in a horrible mood. So the child is crying, this and that. Do you think the daycare worker has time to sit and soothe that baby, you or that child? Because it may take 30 minutes, it may take for you just to sit and hold, or to look the child in the face and say, I got you. Because that child, all that child know is, I want my mommy here. She's not. Why is she abandoning me? And so they're in a pissed off mood. Well, the daycare worker's got 10 other kids. So how can they take 40 or 50 minutes? In my opinion, they just can't do it. Now, that's different than a parent being gone for a couple of hours and that child is with a grandparent, a sibling, a dad, or someone who realizes the child's basic need is to be connected to an adult who loves them, to an adult who will make them feel that whatever I do, I'm okay. And when I say whatever, children are basically innocent and pure, and they don't have that demonic evil spirit. So they may do things. I guess what I'm saying is this: in today's society, it's the parents or my preference, what I want. I just invite people to this: don't have children if you're not going to put their needs first. Now, when I say that, I get some slack. I got to give up my whole self. No, you don't have to give up yourself, because you've got to be healthy too. But all I'm saying is this: your world, my world. When I was raising my children, everything I did, because if it meant I had to move back in with my mother, I would have. But God bless me, I did. Everything I did was centered around me being available for my children. I wanted to be able to take them to school. I did. I wanted to be able to pick them up from school. I did. Might have been late sometimes, but I did. I wanted to be able to be that parent who volunteered for the room activities. I was. I wanted my children to know that they were the most important person to me and my husband. And so that's all I'm saying. I'm saying, parents, work around your children. And it may mean that I might have to work from 4 p.m. in the afternoon, in the evening, to 8 p.m. while my baby's asleep. Or I might have to get up super early from 4 a.m. and work to 8 a.m. while my baby's asleep. All I'm saying is, if our goal is to raise healthy adults emotionally, mentally, spiritually, we have to be there. Nobody else can do it.
And that makes
That's
sense.
all.
That
That's
makes
all I'm
sense.
saying.
And to give background to a little bit about the conversation. So this initially started, and it's going to sound funny, but it was a very serious conversation that rooted from this, or stemmed from this. We were talking about going to a Beyonce concert. So I just want to give the background as to
that's good.
how this came about, but also if it's to fill in gaps, if it sounds like we're talking around different things. But so it started with, we were talking about going to a Beyonce concert, a family girls trip, to a Beyonce concert, and my mother-in-law says, oh, the baby has to come. And me and my sister-in-law looked at each other, and my other sister looked at each other and said, oh, no, she's not coming. In all seriousness, Angela says, yes, she is. And we said, no, she's staying at home. And so, which this part ventures into another topic, but I said she's staying at home with her dad. And then so that snowballed into no one else. This is Angela talking, correct me if I'm wrong, but this snowballed into her saying, no one can take care of my kids, no one else is taking care of raising my children. And so this is how we got into the conversation of, it's not that other people are raising, or my stance, should I say, me and a couple others' stance was, it's not that other people are raising your children, but you have a village that you are okay with for those few hours, or maybe 6, because you have to go to work, hours are with that person while you are taking care of what you have to take care of to provide for that child. and whether it be building the foundation now to provide for that child, because it could be that you're already in school, you've already done that, now you're in the career portion of your career, and so you, and it could be that you come back to this 4 months later, it does, or a year later. It doesn't even have to be within the few months of the first few months of your child's life, but it could be a year later that you come back. But you do need that village. You need those trusted individuals that can care for your child, or the ability to take that child to work with you. And my mom, she was fortunate enough to be able to take me to work with her, and she'll say that to this day. I do meet people who her colleagues, and she used to be a teacher. There were her students, and they remember me in the playpen in the classroom. So that she was fortunate to have that ability to take me with her to her work, and when she was a broadcaster, and to the radio station. So I feel like you work it how you need to work it with a trusted village. Now the daycare, that is a whole different ball game. But I don't think it's necessarily other people raising your children for so many hours a week that you have to have your child go with a grandparent or a trusted aunt, or a cousin might be too far in my personal realm, but a trusted person, grandparent, whatnot,
But
for
yeah,
a few hours
now
a week to further your
I
career.
I agree with you on that, because see,
Hmm.
then that's a family. You see, because we are
And
all
that's the
connected.
distinction.
We
Yeah.
we are all connected, and so I'm here. See, I've lived through some experiences that you and younger people have not, and so I'm here to say this: pay attention and give them the love now, or
Mm-hmm.
you suffer later on. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I'm saying.
And I
And
take that.
so
Yep.
just look at the African women who attach their babies to their backs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Try to take them babies off them African women's back. They're not having it. Why? They keep that baby attached, and they're working and this and that. And so I would hope, my ideal world would be this: mommies could take their babies to work with them. That would be great. That would be great, because, and I'm not saying that as a woman your whole sole purpose is just to parent that baby and you can have no other outlet. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is this: that child grows up, and this is just a temporary moment in time. And although it seems time consuming, and it is, with the right support, you're going to mature through this process of this part of life as well. And the points that I want to drive home with this podcast is this: let's honor our moms, pregnant women. Let's give them the support that they need. Let's make them feel that they're not alone. Because I've been there. I've nursed all of my children, three of them, at least till they were 2 years old.
And
I've been
nursing
there.
is
I
a lot
know
of work.
it is, but God set it up that way.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because you know as well as I do, when that baby looks at you and they're nursing and you see that smile, it
Yep.
releases chemicals in your brain that make you forget all about, whoo, this is a lot of work. I got to stop what I'm doing. God set it up that way. And so all I'm saying is this: mommies, we've all been through it. This is just a temporary moment in your life. And if we do it right now, from birth, because these are the most, what do we say, formative years from birth to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they're formative, that means forming something. And we can't do that by just trying for our work, looking at our conveniences and what we need to do. We need to hone in. These are the points I want to drive home. We don't need as much as we think we need. We're in a capitalistic world.
Very
We
much
want to
so.
work to get this, and that, and a good lifestyle is good.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not put that in front of our children, because let me finish my thought. Let's not put that in front of our children. Let's be present. Let's be willing to get down on the floor with our children, remembering
Yeah.
the best way they learn is through play. Not sitting there. This is through play. And to do that, you have to be present. And to
I
be
agree.
present, you have to make some sacrifices. Yeah, you may want a 5 bedroom house and you just may not get it right now. It
Mm-hmm.
may come 10 years later. That's okay. But what good is it having a 10 bedroom house and your child is suffering from depression, anxiety? We have some of
Or
the
don't have a
highest numbers,
relationship with you.
and we have some of the highest numbers right now with what? Childhood depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, not wanting to live. We want to be present. You are our greatest need in life is to be loved. That's our greatest need. And that takes, we got to be present, baby. Yeah, we love our children, but if our emotional needs as a parent are jacked up, we can't give the baby what we don't have. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just saying we need a community. We need a community. Our women have babies. Her only job needs to be to sit in that bed and nurse that baby. She shouldn't have to worry about, I got to cook dinner, I got to do lunch. No, we need to swarm in on her. I got you. I got your laundry. I got your meals
I
cooked.
agree.
I got you. We need to swarm in on her because
Yes,
if we want her to do her job, we got to support
absolutely.
her. We got to support her, and that's all I'm saying. And so for those women out here who don't have a supportive spouse or husband, I'm not shaming you. For those who have not gone down that road, find your man first, okay? Choose wisely. That's gonna be another podcast, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not shaming you. I'm on a mission, y'all. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to heal myself and to heal and help
Others.
babies.
Well, me, yeah. And I think based on what she just said, do the best you can. You know, if you don't have a support system, do the absolute best you can. If you know that you are waking up every day doing the best that you can for your child, then you're doing it. You're doing it, and you're giving what you can. And with that, if you do pursue a career, don't get lost in the career. Remember what you're doing it for, yourself and your family. That's one thing that I think about when I'm going out. It's like, okay, and I have a tendency to get lost in my work, and I did that pre-children. And so now that I have a child, it's a constant correction throughout the day and throughout the week to say no. Let's remember what's priorities here. Yes, I would like to work. Yes, I would like to keep my career moving in the right direction. And yes, I'm working on that. However, there is another part of me that needs my attention, 100% of my attention. I actually, and the other part is extra to work on my career and moving that forward. To be honest, and it takes a lot of work, but that's the choice I made. And so I make sure when I get home that it's me and my baby. I put the phone down. Uh, I do catch myself because we're human. We it's just that it is what it is. So I do catch myself sometimes on my phone, and then but I'll look over and I see my baby looking at me or trying to reach for my phone, and that's an instant reminder. Okay, let me put it down. That can wait. She's more important. I spend my time in the morning with her. If I'm a little late to work, it is what it is. They have to understand because I'm feeding my child. And if that doesn't work for your career and for where you work, it's understandable. You have to do what you have to do. But at the same time, we need to start forming society, and it starts with us pushing back. We need to start forming a society where folks are just going to have to be okay with the fact that we prioritize our children.
And
Period.
and now I would agree with you
Mm-hmm.
100%. That's all I'm saying. That is my message. Prioritize our family. There's a saying that says there's no other success that compensates for failure at home. And so we all, we want a man, we want to get married with this and that. But guess what? If you don't give the time to your family, your man included, and your
Mm-hmm.
baby, you ain't gonna have no family, boo. You can
Right.
go on and build that career, but guess what? Your man gonna be somewhere else. My family was first and foremost. So I have to pull back sometime and say, you know what? I'm not giving enough attention to my husband, not giving
Mm-hmm.
enough attention to my children. I'm doing all this for what? For my family. If it's hell at home, I'm stressed, he's stressed, the kid's stressed. It's all for naught. You want a peaceful home. You want to look at your man and go, boo, I like you. You want him to look at you. You want your children to look at their parents and go, God, I got the best parents in the world. We can't overstress ourselves, y'all. Don't buy the myth that we can multitask and do all this. You can't. You got to prioritize. That's all I'm saying. Prioritize. Put your family first. And just remember that to all the women out there, you have little ones at home. Trust me, I've been there. They grow up so fast. And for me, there was nothing, I just enjoyed seeing my children take their first step. I enjoyed being out in the snow playing with them, building the snowman. I enjoyed being home making, my firstborn kid. It was just me and him for 2 or 3 years. Our routine every morning would be to make cream of wheat and toast. I look back on that and I thoroughly enjoyed that. We would go in the kitchen, and to this day, he may not be able to cook anything, but he can cook some cream of
Cream
wheat.
of wheat. Yeah.
That was our little routine, but I enjoyed that. I would not have had that experience if I had the stress and pressures of I got to get to work by 8 o'clock. Because sometimes some mornings he wouldn't wake up to 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and I let him sleep. And then when he would wake up, we would go make our cream of wheat and toast, and we would sit and eat our cream. I enjoy that, and I can't. You can't buy that. I can't go in the store and buy that experience. I enjoy being home with my children. My daughter, I have one daughter. I enjoy, the girls would come to my house. I wanted to be there to, one, hear what they were talking about. She didn't know that, but I just enjoyed that.
So do I.
I felt safe that, okay, she's not at somebody else's house. I know what's going on. Yeah, I had a house full that was just her cousins. I had a house full of girls, but I was okay with that. And I was happy to have that option. And so all I'm saying is this, ladies, because now my kids are all grown and I've got grandchildren. And guess what? I can lay in bed at night and relax and go, God, thank you. I think there were some improvements I could have made,
Yes,
parenting my
it's
children.
always is. There always is. Yeah.
But for the most part, I feel my husband and I, we've done a great job. And so I want that for my children and their children, you know? And so I'm not shaming women. As Akila said, if you're out there and you're doing it solo, keep doing what you're doing. And, this is in no way am I shaming you. Because it would be stupid for me to sit here and just, good. That is not in my heart. But it starts now. It starts now. We have to prioritize our children. We have to prioritize our family. And if you got a man, treat him well, give him some time. If you want a man, listen to some of our other podcasts. We're going to teach you how
Right.
to find a
And
man.
hopefully you have a man that, if you do have one, that's also prioritizing his family. Because
Absolutely.
that's
And
the thing too. Men tend to overwork, but hopefully.
it's a two-way street. But let me just say this, and we're going to discuss that on another podcast. But if you got a good man, ladies, if you give him what he needs, he's going to give you what you need. And so, and I'm not. Let me also say this: parenting does include mommy and daddy. It does. But primarily, it's mommy. God gives us a lot as a woman, but you get rewarded for that. So paradise lies at your feet, women. And so do the best that you can, and know that you're worthy, you're deserving, and know that your children are going to take on your temperament and your emotional well-being. Well, this has been a great discussion,
It
Keela.
is.
This has been fantastic. Thank
So,
you, thank you.
yeah. Moral of the story: you can have a career and be a mother. Just work on priorities. So,
And have the family support.
and hopefully you have the family
You
support.
can't
Yeah.
do it without you, like as you said.
Absolutely.
It really does take a village, and we have to get away from the society of isolation. This is my little group, this is me. We are all connected, because as a family, if I hurt, you hurt. If you hurt, I hurt. We're connected. At the end of the life, do you think it's going to matter what career you had, or the relationships you had with your family? Keela, you want to take us out?
All right. Well, thank you for listening, like she said, and we do appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. If you are interested in more of this topic, please let us know. You can email us at the Love Strategy Podcast at gmail.com, excuse me. And you can contact us on our Instagram page, the Love Strategy Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at the Love Strategy. And just make sure you tag, like, subscribe everywhere that you can on our socials. We want to know that you're listening. We want to know your feedback. We want to know you get your questions. The more we have of that, the more it fuels us. The more it fuels us information wise, and and more content that we can provide back to you all. So please, 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 please interact with us. We would love to hear from you. And I think that's it for this episode. Is there anything else we have?
That's it. So we thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, you know how we do it.
This is the Love Strategy Podcast.
Thank you so much. We're out. Deuces.